Hello children. So what we are going to discuss today is the concept of friction in the case of rotational motion, right? So when an object is rotating and if it experiences friction and that causes change in the motion, that concept we are going to deal over here in this case, right? So what we have over here is, this is a disc, right? So it's a lamina, two-dimensional structure. It's a circular disc. Let the mass of the disc be capital M. Let the radius of the disc be capital R, right? Our objective is to determine the time required to stop this disc. This disc is initially rotating at an angle with an angular velocity of omega naught, right? And it is gently placed on a horizontal surface, rough horizontal surface, due to which it starts experiencing force, and that force causes frictional torque, and that torque eventually stops this disc, and this disc, the motion of the disc stops, right? So we are going to find the time required by this disc to stop due to that frictional torque experienced by the rough horizontal surface on which this disc is placed, right? So initially it is moving with some angular velocity omega naught. So first of all, we will find a mass of a small circular strip on the disc, right? So we assume a small circular strip on the disc. This circular strip is placed at a separation r from the axis of rotation or from the center of the disc, right? So this circular strip has a radius r. The thickness of the circular strip is dr. Thickness of the circular strip along the radial direction, it is dr, right? So we wish to find the mass of the circular strip. Let the mass of this circular strip be dm, which can be written as m upon pi r square 2 pi r dr. Now what is m upon pi r square? It is the mass distribution, areal mass distribution of this disc, right? So mass, total mass of this whole disc divided by total area of this whole disc. So this is mass per unit area of this disc. This value multiplied by small area of this circular strip that we have assumed on the disc, right? So small area of the circular strip is 2 pi r dr. So this small area of the circular disc, the circular ring on the disc, multiplied with the mass distribution of the disc, that gives you the small mass of this circular strip. So if you simplify it, you will get pi will get cancelled, so you will have 2mr upon capital R square dr. This is your small mass. Now we know that frictional force is equal to coefficient of friction multiplied with the normal reaction between the object and the surface on which the object is placed, right? So if the object is placed horizontally, the normal reaction is equal to weight of the object. So our disc is horizontal over here. So if it is placed on a horizontal surface, the normal reaction experienced by the disc will be equal to the weight of the disc, right? So since we are assuming a small circular strip, the normal reaction will be equal to mu dmg, right? Weight of the small strip, circular strip, into mu, right? Now torque experienced by this small circular strip will be d tau, and that should be equal to df into r, right? So we know that torque is force into perpendicular distance, so this becomes df into r. So when you substitute this value of df in this, you will get mu dmg r, and this gives you d tau, and when you substitute the value of dm from the previous expression, you get 2 mu mgr square dr by capital R square. This is the expression of d tau. Now the total torque experienced by this disc will be integration of this expression, which will be equal to 2 mu mg upon capital R square 0 to r square dr. So this gives you 2 mu mg by r square r cube by 3. So that is 2 mu mg r by 3. So this is the torque experienced by the disc. As we know, torque is also equal to moment of inertia into angular acceleration, right? Moment of inertia into angular acceleration. So let's analyze this second expression of torque. Now moment of inertia for a disk is mr square by 2, and angular acceleration can be written as d omega by dt. In this case, angular acceleration will be minus of d omega by dt, because this torque is causing the disk to retard. There is a retardation in the motion, so alpha will be equal to minus d omega by dt as the angular velocity is reducing. Now when we equate this first equation and the second equation, we get 2 mu mgr by 3 is equal to mr square by 2 into minus d omega by dt. This gives you mn gets cancelled. You have 4 mu g by 3r dt is equal to minus of d omega. Now what we will do is we will again integrate this expression and get the final value of time taken by the disk to stop. So your t becomes 3r by 4 mu g multiplied with omega naught to 0, and this becomes 3r omega naught by 4 mu g. So this is the time required by the disk to stop, right? T is equal to 3r omega naught by 4 mu g. Okay. Now we will analyze friction experienced by an object which is translating. Here we have taken a case of an object which was rotating and the frictional force caused it to stop, right? Now we will change the case and we will try to draw some conclusions out of the two cases, right? So let's take an object which is translating with some initial velocity v naught. Okay, so let's change the heading. Okay children, so now we will analyze the case of translatory motion, right? So there is an object which is moving initially with some velocity v naught, right? So it is translating with some velocity v naught. Its mass is m, right? Now this object is kept gently on a horizontal surface. Same situation we will create for this translatory motion also, and we will try to compare the two cases, right? The rotational one and the translational one. So it is gently being kept on a rough horizontal surface, and we will try to determine an expression for time required to stop this object due to the friction experienced by this object. So if you keep it gently on a rough horizontal surface and let the coefficient of friction be mu, right? So first of all, we like to determine the frictional force experienced by this mass. So that frictional force, F frictional, let us write it, F frictional is equal to mu times of mg, you know that, right? So this is mu mg. Also this frictional force is causing this object to retard, right? So this is finally going to stop. So if we apply Newton's second law, you have F equal to ma, and this a over here can be written as minus dv by dt. M minus dv by dt. Why minus dv by dt? Because acceleration is negative over here, right? The object is eventually retarding. When you keep it on this rough surface, the frictional force experienced by the object causes its velocity to reduce and eventually the object stops, right? So this is what is happening. So we will equate these two expressions. So you will have m times of minus dv by dt is equal to mu mg. I will rub this off. And we will write the expression over here. So m will get cancelled, so you will be left with minus dv by dt is equal to mu g minus dv is equal to mu g dt integration v naught to 0, integration of t 0 to t. So that gives you v naught is equal to mu g t. So t is equal to v naught by mu g. This is the expression that you are getting, right? So this is the expression for time required by this object to stop when it was initially moving with some velocity v naught, and it came into contact with an horizontal surface. It was placed gently on that surface, and this surface caused it to stop, right? So this is the time required for this object to stop. Now, what was the expression for time required by the rotating disk to stop? Now that time, if we again write down the expression, you will have 3r omega naught by 4 mu g. This was the expression for time required by the circular disk to stop due to the friction between the circular disk and the horizontal surface. Now the major difference between these two time expressions is that this time expression is directly proportional to the radius of the disk, right? So radius of disk is one of the dimensions of the disk, sizes of the disk, right? So this radius of the disk is deciding how much time would be required by the disk to stop. If you have a larger disk, the time required to stop will be larger. If you have a smaller disk, the time required will be smaller. If the disks are of same mass, if you take several disks of same mass but their radius are different, then the disk with having the largest radius will require largest time to stop, right? But in the case of translation, what we are seeing over here is the expression for time required to stop is independent of the dimensions of the object, right? So it is independent of the size of the object. If you have several different masses which are translating and they have different dimensions, they have different areas of contact with the horizontal surface, they will stop in the same time if they have same mass, right? So this is a major difference between these two expressions, and very conceptual thing. It will be required for all the good problems of JEE examination. Okay, children? So thank you. I hope you have understood. Okay, thank you.